Welcome everyone to another episode of Reese's Roundup. I am your host, the Lightning Kid himself, and today the NBA is on high alert because I'm gonna get to this later, but Kyrie Irving no longer wants to be a Cleveland Cavalier. What does that mean for LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers? Find out in about 5 minutes. Okay, so first, we got to talk about some of the trades, some of the signings that have been going on recently in the NBA. I know I've missed a couple of weeks, but that's because after my last video, something tragic happened, and it took me a while to get over it because it was just one of the worst things that has ever happened to me. Zach Randolph is no longer a Memphis Grizzly. Now, I know some of you are bawling your eyes out right now, but it took me some time to get over. But I feel like the Grizzlies can do it without him. He brought such dominance, such power to that power forward position that no other power forward has ever had in such a long time. I mean, nobody ever plays in the post anymore like Z-Bo did. Nobody ever fought for rebounds like Z-Bo. I mean, you got guys now that just try to slam dunk the ball all the time. Guys that stand out on the perimeter and just shoot threes all the time. And then you look at Zach Randolph, the most not fundamental, but the most original power forward, the way you're supposed to play that position. And it's just like, wow, you kind of miss that. And it was so hard to defend him in the post that I just wish we still had him on our team. But he ended up going to the Kings for 2 years, $24 million. And that just makes me makes me wonder, wow, did the Grizzlies not have $24 million to give this guy? So I think this is gonna be a tough season for us, for me, because losing Zach Randolph was tough. Honestly, it was really tough losing Z-Bo, and I wish him the best. I really do. He's a great player. He's so nice, and he's done so much for Memphis that I'd be a hater if I said that, hey, Z-Bo, screw you, So, good luck to Z-Bo in Sacramento, where his career will definitely die. Now, moving away from Memphis, kinda not really, Rudy Gay signed with the San Antonio Spurs. Now, this is a good signing for the Spurs because Rudy Gay is a solid player. He never really got his chance in Sacramento, but it's Sacramento, With Memphis, he was a great player. I wish we could have brought him back, but I mean, hey, all good things come to an end. But Rudy Gay can come off the bench, give you outstanding minutes. I guess he's at that point in his career now where he's going to have to come off the bench. But if he is going to be a starter, he's going to have to come off as shooting guard. But I don't see him starting over Danny Green just because Danny Green is a great three-point shooter and he's one hell of a defender. So if Gay is coming off the bench, then he's going to have to come off the bench as a small forward. Maybe he'll get some starting minutes at shooting guard with Parker and Kawhi, but I don't see Kawhi moving to power forward and having Rudy Gay as a small forward. That's not going to happen. But Rudy Gay going to the Spurs, that definitely livens up their bench a little bit, so I see them being a problem. Jamal Crawford signs with the Timberwolves. Jamal Crawford is another great bench player. He'll give you 20 to 25 points per game coming off the bench. Great three-point shooter, still has a killer crossover, so the Timberwolves did get a good signing out of Jamal Crawford. I would be on the lookout for the Timberwolves, maybe now that they got a nice bench player. Last but not least, Derrick Rose signs with the Cleveland Cavaliers for a year and $2.1 million. This could be Kyrie Irving's replacement, because if Derrick Rose is going to have to come off the bench with Irving, still in Cleveland, then Rose can give you 18 to 20 points per game coming off the bench. something that the Cavs have needed for a long time. But if he ends up becoming a starter and Irving does get traded, then, you know, you're losing a key piece in Irving, but you're gaining a lot better. Not gaining a lot better, but you are gaining an actual point guard instead of just a shooter. Because Derrick Rose will pass when he needs to pass. And he doesn't mind taking a backseat to LeBron, you know. Now, speaking of which, Kyrie Irving wants out of Cleveland. I don't know why, because, you know, if you have an easy path to the finals every year, why would you want to leave? He says he wants to be more of a focal point on another team, but here's 2 reasons why I think that's a bunch of BS. Because 1, he took more shots than LeBron in both the regular season and playoffs this past season. And 2, LeBron is leaving, supposedly, after this season. So if that's the case, why not just wait it out and stick with Cleveland? I mean, if he wants to be the focal point, then why not just stay in Cleveland, make people actually, like you still, and just wait for LeBron to leave, and then you have the Cavs as your team. I mean, you had the Cavs as your team for those first 3 seasons you were signed before LeBron came back, and you only won 15 to 20 games. Granted, you were just in your first 3 years as a player, but, when LeBron came back and he would sit for games because of rest, you were still playing and you still couldn't get wins for your team. I mean, the Cavs are 4-20-something when LeBron sits out with Kyrie Irving playing. So what does that tell you about Kyrie wanting to be a focal point? He cannot be a focal point. So I just feel like it's just more than just not wanting to play with LeBron. I think it's because he doesn't want to live in Cleveland anymore. I think Cleveland's a horrible place to live in, not bashing anybody that actually lives in Cleveland, but you have to agree with me here. Cleveland is not a safe place. It's not a lively place to be in. I mean, what do you have aside from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and a lake that you can go to? Can you even go to one of the Great Lakes in Ohio? I think you can. But I don't think there's anything in Cleveland to do. I think Kyrie is just bored because if you think about it, he named Miami, San Antonio, and New York as one of his other destinations, and Minnesota. I mean, obviously there's nothing in Minnesota either, but he's got a good team in Minnesota that he can go play with. I think he'll be a great player in Minnesota, but I don't think that's where he's going to end up. He might go to the Knicks because Carmelo wants out of New York, and Kyrie wants out of Cleveland, so maybe they'll get a good trade deal for that. I don't see him being a focal point in San Antonio because that's Kawhi Leonard's team. So that's why I'm saying that I don't think it's just about him wanting to be a focal point in his career. Maybe he wants to go to another team and just let it be his team. But like I said, I think if he waited, because everybody thinks that LeBron is going to leave after this season. Maybe he knows that LeBron's not going to leave. That's why he wants to leave. But I think that it's more than just that. I think it's just that he does not want to live in Cleveland anymore. I think that Cleveland is not a place anybody wants to live. So I think that's the main reason why Kyrie wants out of Cleveland. But if you guys know, let me know in the comment section below. Did you guys get anybody on your team that you like? Any signings that you like? Let me know as well. I'll see you guys on the next one. We'll see if any other major deals pop off. But until then, I'm out. Peace.